do we think that Mike McCarthy's job's on the line this season? Like, do you think they're at all talking about Mike McCarthy?
No.
He's going to run it out for the rest of the season, but you think they're going to have...
Look how long Jerry hung on to Garrett.
Yeah.
I think he really, perhaps it's a pride thing, but when you hire someone, he wants to say that he, made the right decision.
It just seems like win or lose, everyone's still eating Mike McCarthy up for...
Mike, are you sure Mike McCarthy's not eating everyone?
A coach,
possibly.
Typically, the coach ain't going to get the praise for a win, and then everyone looks at him for a loss. My personal opinion is the second half of the year so far, coaching's been very There's been a lot of questionable calls, or non-calls perhaps. In this game, though, the biggest thing that kind of was all over the internet, all over the Twitter, was the amount of penalties. 28 penalty flags thrown.
That's
and
insane.
What was it? Nearly 300 yards of penalties.
Did it not just feel like every second play, either Raiders or Cowboys, there was it felt like it seemed like there was a lot of penalty. Well, there was a lot of penalties. So I'm not glad, but at least I'm not going insane. But holy shit, in person, you really notice the flags a lot. It kind of kills momentum into the flow of watching the game.
Well, and this is kind of something that's interesting. So, certainly there was a lot of penalties, and after this game, and they are...
Crack them,
you got 'em, son.
And they
losing my voice.
Both the Raiders and the Cowboys have a game up now, and maybe this will change on Sunday. But currently standing, the Cowboys are the number one penalized team in the league, with 91 penalties for 816 yards, and the Raiders are second with 89 for 785.
wow.
So
Let him play, ref. Let him play.
Right, cheetah.
That's. I just mean to say that it was a lot of penalties, but maybe it's because
There was penalties.
these two teams
get penalties.
I mean, look, you're and that's where you come down to it. There's always going to be some unfair calls or some unjust calls. It seemed pretty even of shitty calls both ways, and obviously you're going to find some plays that shouldn't have been a penalties and they're called a penalties. It is what it is. You can't necessarily use that as a factor to losing the game.
We here on the CanFan podcast refuse to blame the refs for a loss.
No.
You can get out of that situation. It is what it is. You can't control the refs. You can't use it as an excuse.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, if you're going there, perhaps with some inconsistencies. I mean, we're sitting up pretty damn high, making calls from our seats.
Yep.
Watching it, but
Is that a dig at her? Is that a dig at her seats?
Hey, regardless, the seats were great.
Yeah,
anyways.
they weren't bad. They weren't bad.
I mean, maybe that's why I got so hammered. It was because we were so high up.
Yeah,
and,
the air's thinner up there.
Yeah,
Yep.
it definitely wasn't the Jello shots and shotgunning beers before going into the stadium.
No, but you're gonna want to check out our vlog for all that action when it comes out. But this, because the refs stay together, right, as a group, generally.
Yeah,
so
they're a crew.
This group has thrown the fifth most flags and had the third highest penalty yardage. Which penalty yardage is okay.
It's determined by what
Right, but the fifth most flags. So that's a pretty. I don't know how many, but there must be at least
5.
No.
5 officiating crews.
Yeah. So, look, all that adds up to before coming into the game, Jerry Jones anticipated it was going to be a high penalty game, and of course, my man Jerry Jones was right.
And what we're trying to get at is it was pretty much the ref's fault.
I mean, look, I'm just going to say this, CanFan. Amp doesn't speak for me. I definitely will blame a game on the ref's bad calling decision. He doesn't speak for the entire podcast.
Fair.
He speaks for his independent view.
One thing I did want you had kind of said something about one weird call or something by our coaching staff. The one that stuck out to me was putting out Greg the leg for a 59-yard field goal.
Yeah, that was terrible.
No, when we haven't been able to stop the fucking we haven't really been able to stop the Raiders up to that point. You're now making your kicker, who can't even make a point after, go out to make a 59-yard field goal, and he did have the leg. It hit halfway up the post, but it hit the post.
Yeah, there's just no excuse. You're a fucking professional NFL kicker in a stadium that has
60 yards though. It's
no. I'm saying the point after. I'm fine if they miss a 59er. I'm fine if he fucking misses a 40-yarder. It is what it is. Like a field goal attempt is different than a point after conversion. You should never be missing those point after.
Point after should always be hit through. And when we went to an overtime game, I'm not saying like there's a million things that happened in the game that would have determined the outcome of the game, but he hits that point after. Well, now you're changing different plays. You're doing different things.
Yep, totally different.
But back to the 59-yarder, punt the ball, let your defense make the Raiders have to go 80 yards, not 40 or 30 or 50, whatever the fuck it ends up being.
I'm talking about the Dallas Cowboys.